Welcome back to the Rewind That Tape YouTube channel. Today we are going to start a new series about preseason college football playoff underdogs. Every year there are teams that surprise everyone and make a run at the playoffs. While they don't always have success, the teams are remembered for surprising everyone who counted them out. Like last year when TCU made the playoffs and when Tennessee jumped all the way to number 1 in the first college football playoff rankings. Or 2 years ago when Cincinnati somehow made the playoffs and became the first group of 5 team to do so. As college football changes, there are bound to be more upsets and more underdogs making a run at the playoffs every single year. So why not try to predict them? Our first prediction as a preseason underdog this year is the Florida State Seminoles. Last season, Florida State ranked number 13 in the final college football playoff rankings after starting the year unranked in the AP poll. This year, they started off the year ranked number 8 in the coaches poll and number 8 in the AP poll. While they get more respect at the beginning of this year compared to last year, there are a lot of things to like about this team to make the playoffs. First, let's talk about returning players. On offense, the Noles bring back stars Jordan Travis at quarterback and Trey Benson at running back, along with leading receiver Johnny Wilson. Almost the entire offensive line is also returning for Florida State. They also went into the transfer portal and added a little bit of depth as well. On defense, they bring back almost everybody except safety Jamie Robinson, defensive tackle Robert Cooper, and defensive end Leonard Warner III. Their returning production includes Jared Verse and Kalen DeLoach, who are key in last year's success on defense. When looking at returning starters overall, Florida State checks the boxes, bringing back plenty of players to continue their success from last year. Now that we have established what they are bringing back, we can talk about what went wrong last year. Well, FSU just didn't have a great start to the season. In their first 7 games, they went 4-3, falling to Wake Forest, NC State, and Clemson in a 3-week stretch. That's 3 losses in a row. In all 3, this team had offensive struggles at some point in the game, letting their opponents score points unanswered. This team was just too young, playing in close games. The plethora of starters that they bring back also brings back the experience they gained from a choppy 2022 season. So why does Florida State have a better chance than other teams? Jordan Travis is the answer. Travis's improvement through 2022 cannot be understated. He was a significant part of the 6-game winning streak that the Noles ended the season on. His decision-making and overall athleticism makes him a dangerous aspect on offense. Let's dive deeper into some Jordan Travis analysis. Overall, I thought that the best way to look at his overall performance last year would be to look at one of his toughest games against the Clemson Tigers. In this game, Travis went 24 for 42 with 254 yards and 2 touchdowns. He also rushed for 64 yards in the loss. When diving deeper into his overall performance, there's a lot of bright spots. For example, there's a play right here where he splits defenders and runs through everybody to score a touchdown. When looking closer at this play, we can see Travis has to analyze the defensive end that is coming down on him and the running back. He decides to pull the ball, which is the correct move, as the defensive end will collapse into the running back, as we've seen here. Now Travis is forced to take on the last defender in his way, which appears to be a cornerback. He quickly cuts it up the field, which results in open field and a touchdown for FSU. Next, we skip to 6:45, where Travis throws a beautiful ball to his wide receiver in between 4 defenders. That's right, there's 4 defenders around the ball, and Wilson brings it in because of a great throw from Travis. Here's where we start to look at his mistakes. Travis has a 4th and 2 where he throws it incomplete. When we look at it closer, there's too many defenders in this play for it to work. Therefore, the pass breakup. When you look along the sideline and at the play again, you'll see the running back in the bottom of your screen wide open with only 2 yards left in front of him. Then we look to another one of his mistakes as the second half closes out. Ball security as the defensive end collapses on him and he fumbles. Now, you might say that's the offensive line's fault, but it's Travis's fault because he has to hold on to the ball and just take the sack. Then we fast forward to the fourth quarter where Travis leads a drive down the field to cut the lead. Two great throws on these plays leads FSU back into the game. Then we go into the last drive where Travis is able to find his tight end in between three Clemson defenders. Beautiful throw again. And then a touchdown pass from 30 yards away, throwing it right into the hands of his receiver for Florida State to get to a one-possession game. Those two drives are where Travis strives. On the move, making plays happen, things that we know he can do quite consistently. Ball security wasn't really an issue, but he's just got to feel where the defenders are a little bit more often, which is what experience brings. With that being said, Travis should be able to learn from every mistake he's made throughout this new season, as it was a surprise that he was even coming back to FSU. Now they have him, and they have another option and another chance to have a dangerous offense and potentially make this team national champions. So how are we so sure that they can make the playoffs? If we learned anything from last year's chaotic season, it's that anyone can beat anyone. The playing field is going to be leveled as NIL and the transfer portals seem to be sending players everywhere. The Noles just need to win the ACC in order to make the playoffs. They also have a game against LSU, which would be huge to their playoff chances, giving them a strong non-conference win. If they can beat LSU and win the ACC, they should easily make the playoffs. Now let's look at their schedule. From a schedule standpoint, playing LSU early is really going to define their season, but a loss would not hurt them that much considering how good LSU is supposed to be this year. With that being said, LSU's struggles could hurt their season a little bit more, as that would be a rough non-conference loss. They also play at Clemson this year and at Florida. While Florida is going to be a little bit easier without Anthony Richardson, Clemson is going to be a tough game no matter what. The bright spot for FSU is that a young quarterback in Cade Klubnik is going to be taking the reins at Clemson, which should get FSU a chance to shake things up. No young quarterback is going to easily win close games against ranked opponents in his first year. I mean, it isn't unheard of, but it's going to be very tough. Taking all of that into consideration, FSU seems to be in a prime position to make a run. They have a good offense, a good defense, and their schedule is somewhat favorable, considering that they're playing in the ACC. Now, if I had to predict it, which I am,
only had 28
this team
total
has a very good opportunity
beforehand. The slant is
and take games away from everybody else by just doing their job. LSU is the first game of the season, and anything can happen. After that, it's kind of home free. You win your game with LSU, and all of a sudden, you're just going to go down, and you just have one tough game left against Clemson. While I know the ACC can be dangerous, FSU should be in control of their own destiny, especially after their first three games. As soon as conference play starts, the job is just to win. And with an offense like this and a quarterback that has the potential to win the Heisman, it shouldn't be a problem. I think FSU has the potential to be where Clemson used to be. They can be the ACC team that is well seeded. This should be a team that's competing for a national championship this year unless something happens to Jordan Travis or Trey Benson. We'll see if the defense can hold their end of the bargain and give this team a legitimate shot. But until then, this is one of those chaotic football teams that could come out and surprise everybody in our first preseason underdog.